All right, it's January 2025, and you want to buy a house in North Georgia, but a gallon of milk is like 10 bucks. I think a dozen eggs is like $10. And good Lord, I think the price of moonshine in North Georgia has gone through the roof. I don't even know if anybody can afford to buy illegal moonshine anymore. Just kidding, I don't know anything about illegal moonshine in North Georgia. It's just a joke. Hey everybody, my name is Tim Gibson and I am a real estate agent in North Georgia. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to keep you up to date on everything that's going on in North Georgia. And of course, if you are thinking about moving to the area or if you are interested in listing your house in North Georgia, please reach out. My contact info is right on the screen. Okay, so we are going to talk about the true cost of home ownership in North Georgia in 2025. So for some of you, this may be a review. If you're a homeowner currently, this may be like, oh yeah, this is all elementary to me. But if you have never owned a home before, or if you've been renting for a long time, this could be news to you in terms of what does it actually cost to own a home in 2025. All right, so first, your biggest monthly payment, of course, is going to be your mortgage payment if you purchased your home with a loan. And there are a few things to factor in to the monthly payment on your mortgage. First, you have your principal payment, you have your interest payment, you also have property taxes and homeowners insurance that are typically rolled into your monthly mortgage payment. For a quick example, we are going to show you a $500,000 house in Cumming, Georgia with a 20% down payment, loan term of 30 years, and we're going with 7.1% interest. These numbers are just for an example. Of course, your numbers may be a little bit different. Your property taxes equal out to about $329 a month. That brings your principal and interest to $2,688 and a little bit of change. Homeowners insurance of about $150 a month, and HOA fees of $50 a month. So that brings your mortgage payment to $3,218 per month. Now your HOA fees are going to be paid separately. You pay those directly to the HOA, but your principal, your interest, your property taxes, and your homeowner's insurance are usually all wrapped into your mortgage payment. One thing to keep in mind is that the majority of that $3,218 per month on this example house will be going to interest in the beginning of the loan. As you live in the house longer and pay on that mortgage longer, you'll be paying more towards interest over time. The majority of the interest is front-loaded on the beginning of the loan. All right, so now that we got the largest portion of your monthly expenses out of the way, then we're home free, right? Well, not exactly. We actually have some other costs, of course, associated with owning a home. All right, some of these you can obviously handle on your own, and some you may choose to have somebody else do for you, or maybe if you want to hire a company to do some of these things. But for the most part, these have to be done weekly or monthly. First, you have items like lawn care, you got house cleaning. If you are on a septic system, plan on pumping out the septic tank about once every 5 years or so. Then you have other ongoing maintenance items like pressure washing if your driveway needs to be pressure washed, or the decks if you have front and back deck. And they can actually get really slippery, and the wood looks kind of nasty over time, so you kind of need to pressure wash at least once every year or so. And if you have a side of the house that doesn't get a lot of sun during the wintertime, you tend to have a lot of that green growth. It's usually like some sort of algae or something like that. Then you have your minor repairs to think about. You know, like if you have maybe your kitchen sink is leaking, or if you have a toilet that's leaking, you may need to replace the wax seal. If you have window cleaning, patching up holes in your walls if you are, doing some redecorating, things like that. Cost of little simple things like light bulbs. This may go more in the ongoing maintenance section, but things like carpet cleaning. Then we can go into major repairs. So if your roof is old, or if it's in need of repair, or if there's some sort of storm damage, factor that in as well. A new roof could cost anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 or more. Then you have your other systems like your HVAC systems. If you have 1 unit or 2 units, sometimes even more than that. Water heater, your kitchen appliances, washer and dryer. And then things like if you want to change the color of a room, if you want to paint the interior of the house or the exterior of the house. And minor things like if your trim outside is rotting due to wet weather, you may have to replace that. That's just a few of the repair and sort of ongoing costs that you may expect when you're owning a home. So my goal with this video obviously isn't to make you depressed and say, well, gosh, I'll never even afford a home. It's just to make sure that you're prepared whenever you do decide to purchase a home in North Georgia. Maybe there's some surprise expenses that you might not expect, especially if you're coming from a different area. So then we can go into our ongoing monthly costs that are additional to your mortgage. And these are probably going to be pretty standard if you're coming from a rental or if you're coming from a different area, of course. You got your electric bill, you have your water bill if you're on public water, and sewer if you're on public sewer. If you're on a well, your water bill, especially if you're on a private well, is not going to be very expensive. It's really just the cost for the power to run the pump on the well. But if you're in a neighborhood with a shared well, you'll have some sort of ongoing expense there. Usually a couple $100s a month that's paid into some sort of company to manage your well. And we can't live without the internet, so you've got your internet bill as well. And one thing to think about is if you live in one of the rural areas of North Georgia, places like Dahlonega, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, some of these small towns in North Georgia, there's usually only one, maybe two internet providers. So factor that in as well, because sometimes those prices can be a little higher because there's not much competition. And for those of us that are a little bit older, maybe you're still on cable or satellite TV, factor that in as well. And then you have trash pickup. And if you live close to the city center, or if you live in one of the larger towns in North Georgia, like Cumming or Gainesville, there may be municipal trash pickup. Otherwise, if you're in a smaller town, you may have to hire a company to come and pick up your trash. Or some people just take all the trash bags, collect them once a week or once, maybe twice a week, and they'll take them to a dump, and you can dump all your trash at the local dump. There's a few of those around in some of the more rural areas in North Georgia. But that's about it for your main expenses whenever it comes to owning a home in North Georgia. There might have been some I missed, but throw some in the comments, and maybe you can tell me some of the expenses that you're surprised about owning a home in North Georgia. Again, my goal with this video is not to make you all depressed about owning a home, and I definitely don't want to drive you to that moonshine. It's more just to give you an idea of what to expect, especially if you're coming from a different location where some of your expenses may be a little bit different. Tell me what you thought about this video. Leave a comment below, and maybe tell me some of the expenses that you were surprised about living in North Georgia, especially if you moved from a different area. We'll see you on the next video. Have a great week.